to our third edition of the Small Business Support Series. Thank you to all for joining us, and thank you to the Department of Labor and Advanced Education for supporting the full week of information sessions. I'm Cindy Mann, Member and Business Development Specialist here at the Halifax Chamber, and your host for today's session. We're looking forward to hearing from the province today for an introduction into financial aids and free programs that will help you train and enhance the skills and productivity of your staff. We will learn how to access and apply for programs like Skills Online Nova Scotia, Workplace Education Incentive, and Workplace Innovation and Productivity Skills Incentive. Feel free to type any questions into the chat box throughout the presentation, and we'll answer them as time allows. Our speaker may even pause throughout the presentation to see if anyone has questions before moving on to the next program or on to the next slide. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Kimberly White, Director of Workforce Initiatives with the Skills and Learning Branch. For the past 20 years, has worked with the private and public sector, working with a wide array of stakeholders, including employers, non-for-profit organizations, learning institutions, businesses, and industry, focusing primarily on workforce and development. So welcome, Kimberly, and over to you.
Thank you so much. That's a great introduction, Cindy. I see we have a big crowd with us today. I can't see. How many do we have on the call?
Let me see if I can get that answer for you. I think that there's 29.
Wonderful. That's really great to hear. Thanks so much, Cindy. So thanks everybody for joining our webinar today. As Cindy said, my name is Kimberly White, Director of Workplace Initiatives. And our division, the Workplace Initiatives Division within the Skills and Learning Branch, really does focus on partnering with industry and employers to help them in either finding the skilled workforce they need or helping to develop their existing workforce. And that's really where we focus. And so I'm just going to share my screen and we'll get right into some information on some programs. So today we're going to talk about how to grow your business through training incentives. And the three programs we're going to talk about today are the Workplace Education Initiative, the Workplace Innovation and Productivity Skills Incentive, and SkillsOnlineNS. And I'm also pleased to be joined here by the Manager of Workplace Education and Training within our division, Vanessa Margaret. And so if we have some questions pop up during the webinar, Vanessa is at the helm ready to answer them. Thanks for joining us, Vanessa. So a little bit about the Workplace Education Initiative. So the Workplace Education Initiative, which we fondly call WE, provides essential skill development for business owners, managers, and employees in communities throughout Nova Scotia. Through this program, we very much, it's not just a funding program, we fund real partnerships with local business organizations and community groups, but also individual employers to help them identify what their training needs are and help to address those training needs through the delivery of essential skills programming. Courses are typically 40 hours in length and generally delivered 4 hours a week over a 10-week period. Topics include, so some of the programs you may have heard about, and because we've been fortunate enough to have a great partnership with the Halifax Chamber over the years, and so pleased to say we've delivered a number of programs in partnership together. Some topics you can expect to see are HR management, leadership, communication skills, Excel, marketing, social media. Again, the focus really is on essential skill development. We also have a team of workplace education coordinators that work across the province. They're located in every region across the province to help organizations and individual employers identify what their learning needs are and create programs. We also, through the program, provide funding to cover the cost of an instructor coming in to deliver the program and support while the program is taking place, which sometimes can mean location for the training. It might be delivered again, as I said earlier, to a single business or a group of businesses within the business community who may have a common training need. Just to back up for one moment, I'll just mention, just over the last year, we've managed to engage with over 2,000 employers in Nova Scotia and assisting them to meet some of their essential skill needs, delivering training programs to 3,500 Nova Scotians. And that's on average for us every year. All of those businesses stem from a variety of sectors. And our most common programs tend to be business skills programs, which would include sales and marketing, as well as productivity. Computer skill programs, including Excel and social media. And communication skills programs, which can include leadership and also customer service. Here's what Sizzler BBQ Catering has been saying about the program that he recently participated in, Mr. Bruce McPherson. So he participated in a couple of programs over the span of a one-year period. And of course, he says, I'm hard pressed to tell you which have more value. Both courses, that would be Sage 50, accounting, and also social media marketing, both of those programs had changed his world. I wish I had a time machine to go back and take these courses and started saving time and money much earlier. So a little testimonial there. So before I go into the Workplace Innovation and Productivity Skills Incentive, I want to just check in to see if we have any questions popping up, Cindy, on the Workplace Education Initiative.
Nothing yet. And just as a reminder to all panelists, you can type in your message in the box and just make sure it is sent to all panelists. No questions yet.
Okay, thank you. So the Workplace Innovation and Productivity Skills Incentive. So this was a program that was launched back in 2011. And it really was designed to support employers who wanted to improve the productivity and profitability of their business. Those who wanted to grow and expand into new markets, increase innovation, and foster workplace diversity. So we've been supporting a lot of companies to do really great things over the last 9 years. Can't believe it's been that long. And a lot of the training typically falls into the following categories. So we see a lot of training applications coming, requests coming through for information technology, so new technology being implemented within a company, training on new equipment, different kinds of technical training, also workflow systems and processes, and other training that could benefit an organization not typically funded through other government programs. So the program is accessible to businesses that would be inclusive of social enterprises or revenue generating not-for-profits, and organizations such as associations, sector councils, and private sector unions that meet some of the following criteria. So that would be, you need to be located in Nova Scotia and registered for at least 1 year, generating at least 30% of your revenue from commercial activity. And of course, Whipsi can also cover not just some of the direct costs of training, but other expenses such as travel, books for participants, accommodation costs for persons with disabilities, which we realize sometimes is a factor in training, in figuring out how much training is actually going to cost. Oh, before I go there, I'll just mention that last year, the Whipsi program funded about 560 companies to access training through the program. We invested approximately $3.5 million in new training incentives, supporting 3,000 Nova Scotians to get training in new areas. And so these are just a couple of recent quotes from companies who have some great things to say about the Whipsi program. The first is, we were able to train 2 employees in new technologies and brought a trainer to train the staff in technical writing. And as a result, they were able to get ISO or achieve ISO certification. That opened the doors for them to get much bigger clients. Another company says, before we sold solely in Nova Scotia, now we have customers across Canada, in the US, France, Germany, China, Panama, and Brazil. Before lean training, it took 18 to 24 months to get a product from concept to production. Now that same process takes 2 to 3 months. We're quicker at getting on board with new hot products for the next year than our competitors. It's a beautiful thing. So before we go into SkillsOnlineNS, that's a little bit about Whipsi. Anybody have some questions about the Whipsi program?
So yes, Kimberly. So Nelson did just type in that we are interested in Whipsi, and I was just writing back to you, Nelson, individually. If you have a specific question about Whipsi, then please do send that through as well. From Lee Samford, there's a message. I may be getting ahead of the presentation, but is there criteria that we, WEI, or Whipsi facilitators have to meet, or any pre-vetting processes with NSBI? Pre-vetting, I'm sorry, processes with NSBI.
So NSBI doesn't, of course, we partner with NSBI in identifying what some priority training needs are of certain sectors in the province, and we work very closely with them. But they're not part of the vetting process for the program. In terms of vetting training providers, it's not part of the process. So, I mean, it's part of the assessment process. And when we receive a Whipsi application, better understanding the qualifications of the trainer to be able to deliver on that training is all part of the business case that a company would have to submit. So that's considered as part of their application. But we don't personally vet trainers through the Whipsi program. We're solely a funder to support the company to do what it is they need to do. Under the Workplace Education Initiative, the process is a bit different. It's more of a partnership between government, the Association of Workplace Educators of Nova Scotia, and the organization or the employer applying for funding. Our workplace education instructors have to go through some foundational training in order to deliver essential skills programs in Nova Scotia, and that's done in partnership again with the Association of Workplace Educators of Nova Scotia. So if folks have any further questions on that, we would encourage you to reach out to AWINS. Does that answer the question? Any follow-up?
Leah says, thanks so much. Awesome to know. And another question from Tina Lisk. If I received Whipsi funding in 2017, can I reapply for this funding again?
Yes. Yeah, so companies can reapply for the Whipsi program every year.
Okay, great to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Not at this time.
All right, we'll move on to SkillsOnlineNS. So SkillsOnlineNS is a partnership between the Government of Nova Scotia and the Nova Scotia Association of CBDCs. And SkillsOnlineNS provides every resident of the province access to thousands of free online courses to improve workplace skills and knowledge. So those courses can include HR management, interpersonal communication, financial management, hundreds of topics that are relevant to either small business owners or Nova Scotians wanting to improve their skills to attach to the labor market. We actually just, it's important, I think I didn't include it in the presentation, but I think it's important to mention that Blue Drop Performance Learning is also the partner who delivers on SkillsOnlineNS, and they've just recently developed a COVID-19 course that can be accessed by all Nova Scotians. That just takes you through some of what every business, every person needs to know about COVID-19. As well as some safety precautions that we all need to take, and that course is now available through SkillsOnlineNS, again for free for all Nova Scotians. What's also really neat about the SkillsOnlineNS platform is employers can create learning networks for their teams and for their staff and assign courses to them and monitor their progress. So on average, a company would, in order to access a platform like this and put a learning system in place, a private learning system in place for their staff, it would cost a minimum of $5,000 to $10,000 per company. Through SkillsOnlineNS, a company can do that for free just by reaching out to Blue Drop. They will support you in setting up a learning network. And that learning network can contain courses that are representative of your team's needs. So to give an example, I may have an administrative assistant that's been asking for some training in Excel, level 2 Excel. And based on her role, it's really important for her to increase her expertise in that area. I have my own private learning network in there. As an employer, I can now assign a course directly to her, ensure that she's taken that course, and I can also monitor her progress to see if she's completed and how she actually did in the course. So we highly encourage you, if you haven't logged on to SkillsOnlineNS, to do so. We'll share a little bit more with you here. So here's what you're going to see when you log on to the SkillsOnlineNS website. So are you an individual wanting to just access some free courses? Are you a business? Are you a not-for-profit? So it gives you an opportunity to register. You can create your own account. The other neat piece about SkillsOnlineNS as well is it operates very much like a Facebook page. So once you're logged in and set up, you can actually use SkillsOnlineNS as an opportunity to engage with other learners who may be in a similar course as you, join other networks within the province. So it's also an engagement, a way to engage with others. So since the program was launched back in 2012, we've got a lot of, actually the participant numbers here are incorrect. They're closer to 25,000 program participants are registered in the system. We have close to 5,000 businesses that are registered as well. Most of those have learning networks created. We have about 3,500 not-for-profit organizations. On average, what we see from a typical online user is about 60% of individuals who register for a course will complete. And that's actually above standard completion rates for online training. So we're actually pretty impressed with the 60%. We'd like to see us get a little bit higher. That just means that when you register for an online course, we ask folks to complete them because the province actually only pays for a certain number per year. And so we like people to fully take advantage of those courses when they register. Some of the things that we hear about SkillsOnlineNS, it's a great way to offer a variety of courses to our employees. They enjoy the fact that they can access the courses from home, office, or at work. My team often have training component associated with their goals, as most teams do. SkillsOnlineNS is the first stop for sourcing training that ties into their PD and the company's strategic growth goals. This employee says, I like the idea that if I start a course and then get interrupted, I can pause it and pick it up where I left off without having to go back to the beginning. So those are some of the things that have come forward. And this is Wendy Tanner. And she's from Regain Relics, Antiques, and Collectibles. And she says, I took the basics of marketing. I like that it was engaging, easy to use, the information's relevant, and the topics are good. And now when I use Facebook ads, I get more responses and drop in businesses saying that they saw my ad. So it just goes to show you that small businesses are also engaging, are learning a lot from registering through courses on SkillsOnlineNS, and they are truly having an impact. So I do want to draw attention for a moment to our Grow Your Business website. Some of you may have heard from Margaret yesterday, who was talking about some hiring incentives, and it's all connected to our Grow Your Business initiative. And if you log on to Grow Your Business, you'll see a lot of programs there, including training incentives and hiring incentives, and other ways that you can receive support as an employer. Back to you for questions, Cindy.
I do have one from Fairhead. He writes, our products need to be registered with Health Canada. Can we use Whipsi in order to hire a trainer to help us with the registration process?
So that's interesting and definitely worthy of a further conversation. Sometimes it's a consultant that a company needs in order to go through a particular process. And sometimes it really is about skill development and building capacity within an organization. And it's sometimes a fine line between the two. But I would highly encourage you to reach out to the Whipsi Program team to sort that through.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, Cindy?
Yeah, no, we do have a few others. Let me just get to them here. So what are the in-demand skills of today's workplace? And where is my investment best spent?
I think it depends on your company, but there's no question that digital skills are have extreme relevance across all sectors right now. So whether you're a retailer, no matter what your sector is, figuring out even how you digitize certain aspects of your operations has been like never before more important. So what we're seeing is a lot of companies thinking about, particularly in the midst of COVID, how they pivot to deliver their services and sell their products differently and in new ways. So programs, I've seen a lot of programs lately that really focus on supporting retailers shifting to a complete online mode of offering their products and services versus delivering in person or having an in-person shop. Productivity initiatives continue to be important, particularly for larger companies. But I would say digital skills are skills of the future. Folks are trying to figure out how to increase that and automate.
Absolutely, yes. Here's another one. What kind of time commitment would these courses take?
So is that question in relation to Skills Online or Whipsi or?
It's just a generic question. Maybe we could do for Skills Online.
So with Skills Online, it depends on the course. So there's a lot of 42 customized for Nova Scotia small business courses on SkillsOnlineNS that focus on a number of things like financial management, HR management, communication skills, problem solving, supply chain. And typically those modules will run anywhere from an hour to 4 hours, depending on the subject matter area. And the one thing too with online learning, I think it's important to note is, what you're going to take away from the online learning experience, particularly with respect to SkillsOnlineNS, is some practical pieces that you can implement, practical learnings you can implement in your business today. But it's not to replace in-person learning or robust in-depth learning. So for instance, you're not going to learn everything you need to know about project management in a 1-hour online program. You're going to skim the surface and get a sense of what are some of the things I really need to know in order to appropriately engage in project management. But you'll learn enough to take something away from it and decide whether or not you need to do further learning.
Right.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. And now what about with Whipsi, with the Whipsi course? What would the time be like for those?
So there's no courses under Whipsi. So with respect to the Whipsi program, it really is up to the company. The company identifies what their learning need is in relation to their needs. And so they identify what training they need, and then they source out a trainer they feel can best deliver on meeting that need. Okay. And then they apply to the Whipsi program for funding. Okay. And with the Workplace Education Initiative, those programs are typically 40 hours in length, and they go deep. So, if you're looking to learn some of the fundamentals of financial management within your business and really develop some knowledge in that area, I would highly recommend a workplace education program. HR Fundamentals is a great program as well. If you've got an HR manager within your company, or you're the company owner and you're doing everything on your own, but you need to have some more knowledge and skill development in the area of human resources, highly recommend a workplace education program. You're going to take away some practical learning some foundational learning that's important. But again, 40-hour programs.
Right, okay. And another question about the Whipsi program. Does the consultant have to be from Nova Scotia, or can they be from anywhere in Canada?
We've got that question quite a bit. We get it quite a bit. What I would say to that is, if there's comparable training offered at a lower cost in Nova Scotia, we'll dig a little deeper on that with the company. So, for instance, if it's if it's a lean productivity initiative, we would ask the company, why would you go outside of Nova Scotia to source a training consultant when that training can be delivered here? We've got plenty of training providers here in the province. If the training can't be sourced in the province, then yes, we would absolutely consider that within an application.
Okay. Now, I'm not sure what program this question is referring to, but how many staff can I sign up?
Oh, for SkillsOnlineNS, great question. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
My recollection is it's at least 100.
That's
but
good.
I will absolutely follow up to confirm.
Okay. And I have another question here. Can I choose my own instructor while still assessing the funding opportunities, accessing the funding opportunities?
Yes, but there is no guarantee that you'd receive funding. So,
right.
So for instance, and I think I know what you mean. So with respect to Whipsi, the training initiative should not have started before the date of application in order to be considered for funding. With workplace education, typically there's qualifications for delivering that training. So typically there's a conversation that needs to happen there if the organization or employer wants to be considered for funding.
Okay. Excellent. Now, are there any other questions from the group, from anyone who's online? I'm not getting any right now, Kimberly, so I think that we'll wrap up. So thank you to all of those for attending today's Small Business Support Series. So we have a full week ahead of content to learn about workplace hazards tomorrow and labor standards on Friday. So thanks very much, and we'll see you next time, everyone. Thanks, Kimberly.
Thank you.